And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. Always a busy day here, powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. And of course, out there exclusive KKTC True Country 99.9 in Towson up into Pueblo, Colorado, and our friends at hightidecountry.net. And of course, coming up this week, some great shows. If you missed any, always you can see them archived there on the YouTube channel and other places out there too. Out there in Mountain Time, 7 days a week on KKTC True Country 99.9. Well, she's got True Country. She was the artist spotlight of the day this morning, and she's going to talk about strutting in a little bit more. It's her strut. It's Clare Dunn joining us here on the Backstage Pass, one of my show favorites. How you doing?
Hey, good, really good. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
You got it, my friend, too, as well. Well, let's start with the single right there, too, because we got to play it this morning, had some great feedback on the station and the call in, and of course, playing it on the artist spotlight side of things. Excited to get this one out. I loved the different arrangement of it because this is kind of some new things that you've kind of put into the song, both vocally, instrumentally. Really cool tune to get out to the fans, right?
Thank you so much. Yes. Her strut, Bob Seger, how can you really,
Mm-hmm.
you, in some ways, you can't mess it up because Bob is such an amazing songwriter and artist. He really gives you an awesome blueprint to go off of. So in some ways, it's like it's hard to mess it up. But then in other ways, it's like, dang, don't let him down. Don't screw it up. So I've been really excited at everybody's reaction to the song. It's
Mm-hmm.
just been taken off and, getting a life of its own out there. And couldn't be more appreciative of all the support that everybody's given me. And I toured with Bob years ago. I've been doing this song in my live show ever
Mm-hmm.
since then. And I just have never released a version, but I've been asked a bunch of times to have a version. So I was like, well, I have my freedom now and I can have control over my music once again. So why not? Now's the perfect time. If not now, when? So
True. No doubt. If not now, when too. Hey, I love your story because, you've been through everything in this industry. Cut your teeth on a lot of things out there. You've worked with some of the biggest stars in the industry too. Talk about just the path that you've been on and how key that perseverance is, and just a lot of things that have to go right in this industry to keep pushing yourself and your artistry moving forward.
yeah, I think perseverance is key, and I think that will always be key. I think whenever I was first getting going, the industry as a whole, country music especially, was really going through a lot of tumultuous changes, which now have really brought us into an era where artists they have more power than they ever. We were talking about that earlier, but
Mm-hmm.
artists truly do have more power now than they've ever had before. And in my opinion, we don't have quite enough yet. But what's where we're at is really a great opportunity that if you are an artist, if you have your own vision, if you believe in yourself, and if you have a work ethic, you don't have to take the old route, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
and you can carve your own path, and you can make the music that speaks to you, and you can be authentic to you. You don't have to fit in a cookie cutter mold.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to copy the latest trends. You don't have to find somebody who's, you don't have to piecemeal identities, if you will. And which is something that still goes on, but is happening, I think, less and less, at least less than it used to. So, you know, I just encourage anybody out there, no matter what you're wanting to do in the music industry, in any industry, don't be afraid to dig down. You've
Mm-hmm.
got to always know your reason why you want to do something. If you ever lose track of your reason why you got into it in the first place, for me, I got into it because I love music, and it's not been an easy road, but the thing that has always gotten me through is my love of music and my love
Mm-hmm.
of creating. And I just encourage that, no matter what you're doing in life, find the reason that you want to do it in the first place. And every time you're going through a hard time, it's a little bit easier to get through it because you can remember so vividly and clearly, oh, well, yeah, I'll get through this hard time because this is why I started in the first place. And
Mm-hmm.
really, I mean, not to sound cliche, but sky's the limit. There's, because of the internet and hopefully the freedoms we get to keep with our internet, uh, the individual, the entrepreneur in America has been emboldened in a way that, we haven't seen in decades. So,
Let's talk about that. No, well said too. And like I said, always some good reads out there too. I always encourage people, read on that music industry too as well, and definitely pick up some literature, because never are we too old enough to know too much about it, because the business is ever changing out there too. So, hey, speaking of that too as well, I remember back, it was 2013. I'm like, college years and all that kind of fun stuff too. Back in the younger days before all the stuff came along, Get Out comes up too, and then of course you have another great one called Cowboy Side of You, which was just fantastic singles. That bluesy 13 single too, and of course that follow up too. Talk about, just as you go through catalog of songs, those still have to be your babies. Remember those things and loving those type of songs, right?
Oh, absolutely. I still play Cowboy Side of You every night in my set.
Mm-hmm.
I don't play Get Out as much because unfortunately it got taken down off the internet and now I can't get it back up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't play Get Out, but I get requests all the time. I would love people to write my old label and say, hey, can you please allow this song at least to go see the light of day? But anyway, another subject for another time.
Mm-hmm.
As an artist, you grow, you change, or at least in my opinion, that's what you should do. You should be growing and evolving and changing. But for me personally, I don't ever forget where I come from. Those songs are a part of my history. They are a part of my past, and they are a part of the fans and eyes that come to my show. It's a part of our history together, and it's great memories with those songs. And
Mm-hmm.
anytime I play them, I always love to play the new stuff, but the older songs, if you will, for me are just as important as when they were the brand new ones.
Hey, talk about this, because I love the school so much, and you hear so many artists that are attending it too, because it's so important to take those courses. We were talking about this before the show. You mentioned
Mhm.
about all about the business and all about
Yeah,
licensing to merchandising to royalty
yeah,
fees to writing a song to publishing to everything. You went to Belmont, and you actually upon graduation you got a publishing deal. I remember that. At the time, you told it here on the show, previous
yeah.
episodes we've done here. Walk me through that, and just how important that is for an artist to really take every single aspect of this industry very seriously. And Belmont is one of the best universities to get that education from.
Yeah, I believe that you should equip yourself with every morsel of information you can, or at least that's how I was raised on our family's farm and ranch. I mean, I come from a family of farmers and ranchers. It's we don't get to just be farmers. Being a farmer isn't just getting a tractor every day. It involves, you have to think like a banker. You have to know your finances. You have to know crop insurance. You have to know all this gamut of things. And so I was really lucky that I grew up in an environment where we were just kind of taught from the get go that you need to know as much about your career as you possibly can, whatever that career is. And for me in the music industry, I was really fortunate to be able to go to Belmont because I had no clue. I was just a hayseed hick from a that ran a plow most of my life and
Mm-hmm.
up until that point. And so what I learned there was very valuable, and I'm really glad that I didn't like poo poo it off, because now the way the industry is now, you know, where in the past everyone wanted to be like, oh, well, you have to have a business manager and you have to have a
Mm-hmm.
manager and you have to have this and you have to have that. And now so many of these roles are being consolidated down to where it's just more of your opportunity as an artist to maintain your freedom. You can
Mm-hmm.
do that with the more knowledge, understanding how your contracts work so that you aren't taken advantage of, understanding what percentages should be based on what somebody's doing for you, um, so that you don't get locked into a long-term
Mm-hmm.
deal that's really going to strangle you financially and especially in your future. So the most you can do in terms of educating yourself, I totally am 1000% for that. And if you can afford to go to Belmont, I couldn't afford it. But
Mm-hmm.
found a way.
Found a way.
I drove a truck for harvest in order to get
Mm-hmm.
through it. But if you can't afford to go to it, I highly recommend it. There's several music business schools. MTSU, which is
Mm-hmm.
a
Yep.
state school down in Murfreesboro. It's a wonderful school as well, and a lot more affordable. So there's just more options now than ever. And I'm sure there's got to be some online schools out there too for that kind of education. And I totally recommend that to anybody curious to learn.
You mentioned those teams before I take a time out here. First commercial here on the show with Clare Dunn here on the Backstage Pass. Talk about just equipping yourself with. We talked about the knowledge, but that team, no matter what role they take, just making sure that's the people that have the same common goal as you do as an artist. And I think it's so important as you equip yourself as a manager with the right artist, that the artist equips themselves with the right people for their team, right?
Right. Well, the people you surround yourself with are a make or break to your career. And if you are able to find people who truly are in your corner, that's the most important thing. Finding people that you share common ground with, I believe, in a wide variety of topics, not just business, not just your aspirations in music, because all that can get squashed, or it can get muddied, or it can get blown out of the water so easy. I think that if you don't trust this person to have your back walking into a dark alley, I wouldn't be in business with them. And I think that those types of things aren't taught as much as maybe they should be. That learning this business is not super complicated. There's a lot of people that will try to overcomplicate it to keep people out of it. I'm not one of those. There may be a lot of volume to the information that runs around in the music industry, but it's not hard to understand, and it's simple math. And so having somebody with integrity and honesty and character that you would walk into a dark alley with, I think is one of the most important characteristics, because everything else, if you're willing to learn, you can learn on the fly. If you've got a work ethic, you can work to figure it out. And, I don't think you have to be an expert before you start. I just think you have to find the people that, like I said, you'd walk into a blind alley with, those are your people, so.
No doubt too, as well. And that's good stuff out there too. And like I said, well said to a lot of the up and coming artists out there too, as well, that need to know, if they don't know it already, different sides of the business, because there's a lot of it too as well. And you're right, it's not hard to learn. Some of it is common sense, and learning on the fly is half the battle too as well. But that hunger, that intensity, that fire in the belly to believe in what you're doing and just take it to the next level too. We're going to come back after this timeout for CMA Fest and talk about an EP Clare put out March 1st called Wasn't Looking. Love the song off of that too as well. Great title track, and one called Ready for a Fight. So we're going to come back and be ready for a fight here on the Backstage Pass here again. And of course, coming up here in a few weeks, CMA Fest June 6th to 9th. We'll be there doing our radio show live there from the Fanfare X inside the Music City Center. 7 stages. Crazy out there how busy it's going to be. And people from all over the world just get to Nashville, Tennessee and enjoy it too, and fall in there and pick your favorite artist. Check out the lineups and the schedules out there, CMAFest.com. And of course, out there too, the Connect app. You can download the CMA Fest Connect app out there too. And we'll be backstage at the Grand Ole Opry Sunday, June 9th for Sunday Morning Country with our good friend Brenda Lee hosting that. And of course, a lot more coming up with radio shows all over the town and the bars. Be sure and tune it in on KKTC True Country 99.9 and hightidecountry.net too as well. We're back in a flash. Our sponsors make it possible. More with Clare Dunn. It is the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here with Clare Dunn on the Backstage Pass, KKTC, True Country, 99.9, Towson up into Colorado, and our friends at HighTideCountry.net. And, of course, one of the other shows we're looking forward to. Going to be there in town the weekend. We can't be there, but hope you can, too, out there, too, as well as Mo Bandy, the State Line Band, and, of course, out there, the great Wade Hayes, coming up in Fredericksburg, Texas on Saturday, June the 1st, to Full Circle Moments, LLC, offering a unique entertainment experience for music lovers, providing that live music entertainment that fosters faith, family, friends, and fun out there, too. Tickets and more, Full Circle Moments, LLC.com for more out there, too, as well. Back here with Clare Dunn. So I got to ask you about the Wasn't Looking EP. I thought it was just the Attitude kind of EP, which is there too as well. And I love this one, Ready for a Fight, because I think we're all we get antsy sometimes. Looking, not to say we want to sit there and brawl, but I mean, man, what a country song that you put a spin on for Ready for a Fight. I love this thing.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody's out there looking for a fight.
No.
And, I'm certainly not looking, but I guess if one comes my way, I'd rather be ready for it. So, I don't know what honky tonk in America you can't walk into with that mentality and be okay.
I like that, dude. Talk about the writing of this one too, and who you got a chance to work on this tune with. Did you write this one yourself?
No, I co-wrote this one. This is one of two songs on the album, on the EP, that I co-wrote with a good friend of mine. Well, it's the only song he and I wrote together for this project, but my good friend Mickey LaMantia, and he's an amazing artist, amazing songwriter, just a real badass, and he's legit. Like, I've never heard a voice like Mick's. I remember the first time I heard his voice, I was like, who is this, and what 1970s record is this that I've never heard? Because I feel like I've heard just about every 70s country song there is. And when I learned that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a new guy, and he doesn't sound like anybody else, and he's not trying to sound like anybody else, he just is. And I just was like, wow. So we connected, of all things, through TikTok originally, and then come to find out we knew some mutual people, and we just hit it off, became friends, and have never met in real life, just visited on the phone. And we wrote this song over text, back and forth, and voice notes, and the rest is history. So
I love it.
Honored to work with them. Love that guy.
It's good stuff right there. And then the title track of that one too, for that one that came out back in March 1st. We had just left Nashville when this came out too as well, after the stuff we were doing there for CRS. But Wasn't Looking, I thought this was another one of your great songs. And of course, this has done real well for you in the streaming category side of things.
Thank you. Yes, I co-wrote this with Jeff Trott, who y'all might know through many hits he's written with Sheryl Crow. And Jeff is an amazing producer. I tend to produce or co-produce all my own music, except when I work with Jeff. And I'm just like, Jeff, please, you don't need me. I will go away, and I'll go work on other stuff, and please do your magic. And he always does. I really love writing with Jeff. And the day I went in there, I wrote that song actually last summer, and I didn't know what I was going to go in there and write about that day, which is unlike me. I usually at least have a couple ideas in my pocket I feel really excited about. And this song just sort of happened. And it's so weird how when you write songs and then you live your life and you realize that, like, oh, well, now my life reflects my songs. And I think the best things have happened to me since writing this song, and I wasn't looking for it. And, letting up on yourself and letting up on the pressure that we all put on ourselves, I think is sometimes really needed. And that's one thing that I hope we got across in this song, is that, you just don't worry about it. Let it go. And the best things will find you when you're not looking. So really proud of this song.
It's a great album. Be proud of the whole EP, man. This is fantastic work. Let's talk about Legends too. I loved Legends and the message that it sent to as well. Just another great song in your arsenal.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, that song was inspired. I've been playing a lot of rodeos the past couple years after getting out of all my deals. And I always wanted to play rodeos, but was somehow told I couldn't. So that was always interesting. But anyway, just have made a lot of great friends in rodeo over the past couple years. And, getting to see a glimpse into what those guys and gals go through. I mean, it's not too unlike being a musician. It's a different town every night. It's, a crazy hectic schedule, and you're just putting it all on the line for a dream. And so I wanted to write something. I was actually in Ellensburg Washington, and I had just played, and I was going out to dinner with a couple of rodeo folks. One was a Kef roper, and he's really awesome. His name is Weston Hughes, and me, him, and his girlfriend were all headed to dinner, and he was like, "Yeah, you ought to write some rodeo songs, Claire." And I was like, "Oh, duh! I don't know why I didn't think about that." So he's like, "Bring the rodeo songs back, man." And I was like, "All right." And so some of that was inspired in that song, and then my great grandfather was a veteran in World War I, and so, you know, our real legends are not celebrities. They're not the people necessarily, you know, out there making the most money. They're the everyday, ordinary people who really make this country go round, and the dreamers who are out there, you know, chasing a dream and trying to just make a little bit something out of themselves. And you know, the ones who make a difference in just one person's life, whether that's being a teacher or being a fireman or, you know, a first responder of some kind, whatever that is, that is a pursuit worth being a legend for, in my opinion. So
love it. It's a great song, no doubt. I mean, if you check out all the music across all the streaming platforms out there too. I noticed you had a visitor there in front of you too as well. His ear kind of popped up above the name. I had to get his name or her name right there. Yeah,
I do. This is Carl. Carl is Carl doesn't like to be in his seat alone, so I found him to my lap. I tried to put him in the back, but
no. He's going to hop back up there. I know you're headed out. You guys are staying busy. I know the shows are staying busy right now, too, with opening the floodgates of like the tour, and check out the website and, of course, everything out there across the social media. Where are you guys headed? I know there's big shows coming up. The summertime's coming up, too.
Yeah, we head back out for our fairs and festivals and rodeos. Just go to claredunn.com. We're going to be down around, we're playing the XIT rodeo in Dalhart, Texas, which is my neck of the woods. I grew up just, you know, learning and loving the XIT ranch down there. So that's a real honor to get to play that. And we're playing Rifle, Colorado rodeo, West Cliff rodeo in Colorado. A few other things I can't think of, but just Clare Dunn has everything you need to know.
Check it out. 2 N's, DUNN, ClareDunn.com out there too. We'll come back after the final timeout, put the finishing touches on the show, because I know she's got to get on the road and get ready for some big shows coming up, some big rodeos. So check her out at ClareDunn.com, and of course her strut across all those streaming platforms out there too as well. But again, if you're looking for the best in country Christian music out there, look no further. Our friend Jonathan Bond out there. We'll see him June the 9th at the Sunday morning country event backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. Check him out at JonathanBond.com. Always an uplifting, positive message. We can't get enough of that in this world today. We need that. I know we're in an election year, and I do not talk politics on the show, but man, if you want to get one step closer to your Lord and Savior, check him out. The best in country Christian music, Grammy-nominated recording artist, Jonathan Bond out there too as well. Coming back, more with Clare Dunn. Rapid fire coming up, and guess what? The beat goes on. No pun intended, but we'll talk about that here on the Backstage Pass. Stay tuned. Word from our sponsors, HighTideCountry.net and KKTC True Country 99.9. Stay tuned.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
The Kate & Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at theKateandGordonShow.com. Again, that is theKateandGordonShow.com.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And, of course, coming up Saturday, June the 1st, it's going to be an exciting weekend that kind of kicks off the summer concert series out there for Full Circle Moments, LLC.com. They offer a unique entertainment experience for music lovers out there, too, and it's providing that live music entertainment that fosters faith, family, friends, and fun. It's going to be Wade Hayes, Mo Bandy, the State Line Band at the Crockett House Beer Garden Saturday, June the 1st. Tickets out there, too, as well, Full Circle Moments, LLC.com, and that's a great lineup just in one night. Wade Hayes, Mo Bandy, and Jody Dominguez of the State Line Band back here with Clare Dunn. So, you know, we got to talk about, it's been a while since we had talked, but the beat goes on. And if that's not the theme of life in general, I don't know what is, right?
That's right. Absolutely. I grew up listening to this song, and honestly, I hated it. I hated this song growing up, and I was like, "Oh my God, can someone please stop playing that?" And then I actually I got asked to write for uh, a sync project,
Mm-hmm.
which is like this was going to be for a commercial, and I won't say who because they really need to use this song. But anyway, I'm not gonna bully them into it. But they had a very specific criteria, and they wanted a cover song, and they wanted it to say certain things and be about certain stuff and kind of have a certain cadence to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in my studio in my house, and I just was like, and the beat goes on,
Mm-hmm.
and the beat goes on, and I was like, man, what is that? So I just kind of played a little bit of a riff off of their riff, which that bass line in the original record was played by a chick. She's one of the most famous bass players. Oh, I can't think of her name. What's wrong with me? Oh, I hate myself for that. But anyway, so just trying to, reimagine that song, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're reimagined, and we'll see. And so it didn't get used in the commercial, but I was like, screw it, I'll put it out because I was like, dang, that's pretty rocking.
I
So
like that.
yeah,
That's good stuff right
absolutely.
there. Hey, being from that part of Colorado, knowing we listen to out there on KKTC True Country, you actually put out a beautiful song that I love so much about, like I said, your kind of the home state and kind of where you grew up, and really
Yeah.
touched on that side of Colorado, just expressing a lot of different beautiful lyrics in there to describe a scene and kind of paint that picture. And that's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing, Claire, about country music is you really did a great job of storytelling, because I know you were born and raised in Southeast Colorado.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I am. I'm from the flat part of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
We look like Western Kansas and the Oklahoma Panhandle. But Colorado has always been. I mean, obviously, it's my home. But every time, especially starting out in my career when I was back east so much, I just missed anything about out west where I
Mm-hmm.
was from. And I get altitude sickness in the mountains, but I was like, I'll take it. I will take altitude sickness if I could just go back.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I wrote this song during a transition in my life, and um, it was just I wrote this in about 45 minutes one night, just sitting in my studio with uh, going through a lot of stuff and trying to figure out how to talk about it in a song. And then this song just sort of made itself known, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is, I guess that's all there is to the story on that one. But Colorado, no one has really, I mean, besides that guy named John Denver.
Oh yeah,
uh,
that guy.
I, I haven't heard a lot of I remember looking for songs about Colorado, and there wasn't too many.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I may as well just write my own John Denver, take on Colorado, if you will. So I love that song and love playing it live.
Good stuff out there too. I know Dean's tuning in. Thanks, Dean, for tuning in the YouTube channel out there. We appreciate it. He says two of my Claire favorites out there. Yep, Salt and Lime, and we are no doubt about it. Tuning in a couple of great songs out there too as well. That Salt and Lime, that's just a kickoff for like a summer, like an anthem out there too. Because I mean, any time of year is great. But hey, if you're going fishing, Salt and Lime, my friend, that's just a good tune to play, right?
That's the jam. Absolutely. You just need a little salt, a little lime, a little tequila. Oh wait, somebody else did write that song, but I wrote mine first. It's all good.
You got yours first. You're that cat. She stayed in her lane right there when she wrote that first too, no doubt. Hey, let's talk about another one. We don't see much of it down here, I guess, this time of year with all the rain, but just a beautiful, picturesque cover you had for the single. But I loved Out of the Blue when it came out last year, and I know it's like just a perfect capturing that image. It can capture in it. Country music is all about storytelling and making somebody feel something. With that particular tune, how did that one originate?
Well, yeah, I'd actually gotten into an argument with someone that I love very dearly, and just in being totally honest about it, and I really regretted the way that I handled the situation, and I regretted how we hung up the phone, and I just thought, what if you just never know what's going to happen? You never know when the last time you talk to someone is the last time. And so I just was immediately overcome with regret. And I sat down and wrote this song just in that moment. Cause we basically weren't speaking. And so I didn't know what else to do with the silence of that. And I think as songwriters, or at least for me, I'm always looking for a way to
Mm-hmm.
express a feeling, and that's what songs and music is for. And this song came out of a sad situation, which went on to become okay. But I still, you know, I still have those moments, whether it's in an argument or just saying, "Hey, I love you."
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's so important, and we can never say that enough, in my opinion. And so this song is my little Fleetwood Mac wannabe moment. Express that.
I love it too, because those, and also too, some of those, sometimes those songs, as you mentioned too, Claire, can come out to be therapeutic, and I'm glad the situation resolved itself. But
Thank you.
sometimes a tune is born from something you didn't expect, and having to go through that is where songs really get the best of songs sometimes to come out to as well. And I just know there's a couple of great tunes coming out next week for a couple of friends of mine. One's called Rolling Strong from a friend of mine named Sandy June. It's coming out next week, and it's just, I mean, the first responders, the military, everybody got behind this one, which is fantastic. It's for that blue collar worker out there too, and I love it so much. Another one's for my favorite Elise Saunders, Canadian country artist, Dirt, coming out next week. So these songs, you just never know when beautiful songs like Out of the Blue, and some things are going to come from too, because music is so therapeutic and just cathartic at the same time. I love it.
Amen. That's right.
Love it so much. All right, well, I tell you what, let's do a little rapid fire, because we're going to have her back when all the new projects come out, which is the only fun here. So I got to get to know some things on the personal side. I probably know it, but the listeners out there may not too. Shows to binge watch. What have you gotten into lately from TV series or standpoint of anything on television?
Oh, I'm so boring. I'm watching John Adams right now.
That's a good show, though. It's
through. I've never seen it, so I'm on episode 2, and I've had to rewatch episode 1 like 3 times because I get interrupted. So it'll be a slow go.
A slow go, no doubt. Favorite, if there, I guess, sports, because you're from, like you said, that the West being West out there too. Sports, I know that on all the time. Favorite sport for you to watch? What is it?
Basketball, absolutely.
Basketball, okay.
I played it. I'm not too good at watching sports on TV, but if I can go to a game, I'll go to a game anytime.
Well, I tell you what, you got being from Colorado, obviously Nuggets fan, right?
Oh yeah. I think we won the NBA championship year before last, right? I mean, I'm a huge fan, as you can tell.
I was not expecting Minnesota to do that. I had them going back to back when it came down to that too. But at the same time, it's all good. Like I said, it could be good playoffs. But I will say Jokic is the best player in the league, and that's not even a question to even talk about even right now. And Jamal Murray, close second too. So I love watching Nuggets basketball, because they, you talk about that, and there's a lot of teams that don't play the team basketball aspect of it, because there's so many superstars on these super teams out there now. So I love the way that Coach Malone and the Nuggets play just team basketball out there too as well. They almost went back to another Western Conference finals out there too. All right, when in Nashville, or I guess anywhere in the country, but I just know Nashville's on my brain because we'll be there in a couple of weeks. Favorite spots to eat, to kind of dine in? What foods do you like?
Oh, well, there's this little taco shop that is sort of my favorite hidden in the wall type joint. Because if I could eat Mexican food every day, all day, I would do that. But so it's Oscar's Taco Shop. That's my favorite place. I'm not really a big barbecue fan, so me in the South and food, sometimes we don't always get along. But I found that Oscar's or Victor's, I can dream of being in the West and soaking up good Mexican food like where I'm from.
Love it. It's a never a dull day when you can't have you want to have Mexican food. You can eat it. I'm like you, eat it every day, especially being from Texas down here too as well. Just never get it from anywhere. There's no bad Mexican. Well, I guess there is.
You cannot do that in the South. Y'all consider yourselves blessed, okay?
We do consider ourselves, because we're so close to one of the best spots for it, San Antonio, Texas. We're about 4 hours away from some of the best tortillas and some of the best Mexican food out there too as well. Hey, I had to ask you about Tuxedo too as well, because this was another cool project you got to work on too. Love this particular EP and especially that particular song. Love the project.
Thank you. Tuxedo really was a monster, and I feel really bad for that song, because it outsold, it outstreamed, and it was caught in a time when some parts of the industry were saying that streaming was going to go away, and then some parts of the industry was like, well, streaming is the future. And so it was really caught in this terrible time, and
Mhm.
yet it was breaking all these records, and it never got the acknowledgement for it because it was all new territory. And I wish that I had a better team. I wish that I had chosen a better team at the time to surround myself with, because I
Mhm.
think that the outcome would have been different. But that's a learning curve. And but Tuxedo really is the song that could. And
Mhm.
so grateful for that song. I was playing a show. I've never told this story, but I was playing a show. We were at a Hard Rock casino. I want to say somewhere in Minnesota, and they had these big displays, and they had a tuxedo of Mick Jagger's. And I've been a Mick Jagger fan my whole life. The Rolling Stones have always been one of my biggest influences, and
Mhm.
so underneath the tuxedo that he wore, he called it Tux Ego.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, well, I don't, yeah, well, and I took that whole idea home. And then when we were in the session writing it, I was telling him, I was like, I just saw this cool tuxedo of Mick Jagger's, and I was like, there's got to be a song in there, except underneath the plaque it said Tuxedo. And he goes, Brett James just goes, yeah, don't worry about the tuxedo, let's just call it Tuxedo. And I was like, hell
Mhm.
yeah. And but I had the concept, kind of rolling around already in my brain. And so, little known fact, most people don't know that Mick Jagger inspired Tuxedo,
I
but
love that.
him and all the farm boys I grew up around.
I love it too as well. Hey, like I said, love to. Hey, your current team, if they rework that song, my friend, unbelievable. The
Yeah.
way she makes songs really come to life out there too as well. She's one of the best, and of course, her strut is the old Bob Seger tune. There is across all the digital streaming platforms out there too. You can get it across all those platforms now: Apple Music, Spotify, whatever you use, and get those stream numbers up, because hey, that's how musicians get that mailbox money today.
Thank
All the
you.
spins, good stuff out there. Get that up and check her out on tour at claredunn.com. Hey, I cannot wait to do this again. You're always one of my show favorites. Hope you enjoyed it, and come back anytime, my friend.
Always. Thank you so much for having me, Brandon.
She's got it. One of the best out there, the best vocals, the best artist, and showcasing a lot of cool things out there right now going on. She ain't slowing down. She's a trailblazer for all the great ladies doing their thing out there too as well. ClareDunn.com and her strut across all the platforms. We're back tomorrow for one show, and then Friday, of course, Daryl Worley and Pam Tillis. Boy, to say those two names back to back. Must be doing pretty good here on the week of the Backstage Pass. And if you missed the interview yesterday with Blanco Brown, he was on yesterday talking about the Get Up and his new EP and all that good stuff too. So go back and check it out. 7 days a week, 6 to 7 o'clock Mountain Time on KKTC True Country 99.9. Always at the sportsguyspodcast.com and our friends at hightidecountry.net. Don't forget, 2 weeks from Nashville, June 6th to 9th, backstage at the Opry, the Music City Center, Fanfare X, all the great interviews, all the artists coming to us to tell their story and what brings them to Music City. Well, that being, it'll be CMA Fest 2024, the 51st edition. Hard to believe it's out there. Give Claire a follow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Eve Sellis dropping by. And, of course, Friday, 4 shows on Friday. Call me crazy. That's the way it goes here on the Backstage Pass. We'll see you soon. Take care. God bless.